Hi there, I am Aaron. I am here in my movie study, not in my movie library again. Hopefully I'll be in my movie library in the next 2 or 3 days. My knee's starting to feel a bit better. But tonight we're doing something different. We're doing something unique and kind of something fun, hopefully. This is a pilot episode for this show. If you like it, we'll do more of it, and it's all going to depend on you. So this is the Sunday Night Blues, and basically we are going to look at, we're going to have, either way, we're going to have, top 10, top 12 lists, whatever. We will have like podcast, Blu-ray, and book recommendations. We will talk about stuff that's going on sale-wise and some of the other things that are happening right now in the world of collecting. Hey there, 4K. Hey there, Dave. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, and this is going to be probably one of my I got a lot of interactive videos. One of my most interactive videos that I want to do. So what I decided for the first, like, kind of the inaugural topic, kind of the going thing to get us started talking, basically, is we're all kind of boxed in right now. We're all kind of in our own little places. So I decided, why not do a video and start it off with the with box sets to watch when you're boxed in. So hopefully that comes across more clever than it actually sounds. Hey, there's Cinema Dave. Welcome, man. I do not need YouTube Premium. But I got some ideas here. Do I play N64? Not enough. My computer, my N64 downstairs is attached to my TV, but my TV in the basement doesn't have sound, so I should actually bring it upstairs to my TV here. But I haven't been able to go downstairs to my basement in the last week or so because knees. But that's a thing. Make sure to hit the like button, share and subscribe. But for the people that have that see this on Twitter and like it and share it on Twitter, thank you so much, because that means the world to me. It's an exciting, super cool thing. So what I did was I picked out some random box sets. Hey there, Mike. I'm going to show a few different things. I had planned more. Can I be honest with you? I'll be blunt. There were ones that I had thought about. Then I realized I'm probably going to have to go to the basement to get those. Down to the movie library. I'm not going to make it down those stairs and up those stairs and still be able to make a video because my leg's getting better and I'm kind of want to make sure it stays that way. So I chose box sets on my top two areas. So I got some different stuff. I got some indicators, some arrow. I got some Scream stuff. I got some Criterion. I got I got a TV box set show for you, and I have a cartoon one as well because I love me some cartoons. And sometimes that's just kind of what you need when you're home and you just can't watch any more films. Hey there, Death Bomb Man, welcome. So I'm going to go through some different stuff. Hey there, Andy, and hey everybody. And I'll be going through some different box sets. I'm going to show them. And I'm also going to do kind of a watch list thing, letting you know some things that I'm going to be looking towards. A little bit of everything, a potpourri. So if the first box set doesn't get you, hopefully the next one will. Hopefully these are things that you already have in your collection or ones that you're looking at and you're thinking about getting. And if you do see something that looks like, that looks kind of interesting, I'd like to know a bit more about that. That's what I'm here for. Ask me questions on those. If I know the answer, I'll tell you. If I don't know the answer, I'll also tell you. But you don't know until you ask, so that's it right there. I have seen The Lost by Trilogy Island, by the way. I like the first one, but though unlike some people, Lost by is not my favorite vampire film. Scared you. Yeah, I get that. I'm also very scared of unwatched box set, and you're going to see, like, some of these have been watched, some of these haven't been watched, and that I have got to get around to. But let's start off with a simple one. Let's go with a really easy one. And we'll go with the TV one first. We'll get into the movie ones afterwards. And as for like a TV show that I've been meaning to rewatch that I haven't seen since initially came on the air, but I really enjoyed it when I did. And I did buy the DVD box set back that I actually found it at a store. Oh, I need the Ultraman sets. I really need those Ultraman sets. And just so you know, one of the things that was going to be on the list was a Power Rangers box set, but that's in the basement. So the unofficial, we'll do this. Pretend I'm holding it in front of me. Power Rangers, second box set. The first one's good with the original Power Ranger series, but the second one gets even better. But if you can get Power Rangers Volumes 3 and 4, Show Factory put out 3 mega Power Rangers box sets. If you're into that stuff, especially Volumes 3 and 4, really good, worth picking up. Hey there. But the first one, and I hope this is a show that some of you guys like. I really enjoyed the show when it came on, and I really need to go back and rewatch it again. I had a great cast and excellent series, and that was The Wire. So anybody here fans of The Wire? Like for the longest time, this was considered the show, and then Breaking Bad came along, and Breaking Bad became the show. Rabbi Strikes, Gemini Man, Spies in Disguise, and Toy Story 4. Ah, see, this is a favorite of mine. I actually, I got this in upside down. You haven't checked it out? Death Bomb? I think you'd like it, man. So let's put these in right, because I hate when things are in wrong. It's such a good show, and it has such a great cast in it. This is all 5 seasons of The Wire, by the way. There is a Blu-ray edition of this out now, which is probably a better edition to get. But I got this at a local Salvation Army. And all the discs were there and in good condition, too. So if you've never seen The Wire, it's a cool, it's a gritty show. Deals with life on the streets. It came out around the time like shows like Oz and that were coming around, and The Wire stuck with a lot of people. No, definitely not based on Mel Gibson. Way better than a Mel Gibson movie, actually. Great cast. I think Idris Elba. Hey there, Chris. Before he got into, before he became famous, he was in the show. There's actually a few like big actors in this series. Definitely, if you've never checked out The Wire, definitely check it out. It's a great series, and one that you'll get hooked on. It's one of those shows that you'll start watching. It's quality, and you keep watching, and there's a lot of twists and turns. Then people get killed that you don't expect to get killed, and some people live that you don't expect to. But definitely, Paul, if you've never seen The Wire, definitely check it out. I wouldn't go like diving too deep and like Googling the information on the show, because there's some great twists along it, and an excellent series. If you ever watched anything like Breaking Bad, or you watched Oz back in the day on HBO, or you watched one of those kind of grittier crime type shows, then The Wire is definitely for you. It's that type of show. If you've gone through Sopranos and Dexter and Breaking Bad and stuff like that, and you haven't seen The Wire, without The Wire, I don't think we would have got Breaking Bad or and a lot of shows like that. The Wire was kind of like, it was a breakthrough show in its time. And I'm surprised some of you guys haven't seen it, but hopefully, because I was worried when I chose The Wire that it was going to be too mainstream of a suggestion. 4K, I'm going to guess The Wire is a show that you've seen, because it kind of strikes me as a 4K type of show. Because you like... Bonanza set. I don't know if they get a Bonanza set on Blue, but I think you're going to get like a Bonanza set on DVD. A lot of TV series, people assume like, is this going to go to the Blu-ray, or is this going to go to Blu-ray? Some of them are eventually, but something like Bonanza, it was a huge series. If we're lucky, we'll get a Blu-ray set. But a lot of TV shows, and you're going to notice this, are just going straight to DVD, and that's okay. But I would love to see like a nice box set for that. Here's one that does have a Blu-ray release, and that I had to bring on here because I thought it was... You are a fan, Cinema Dave. I gotta rewatch Paths to Glory now. Do I have Paths to Glory though? Damn it. Paths to Glory is a Kubrick film, it's a fantastic film, by the way. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. If you've got the Criterion channel, for instance. I'm not sure if it's on there, but I know Criterion put out the box set of it. Lost in Space 1965. I got that downstairs. I got the Blu-ray edition downstairs. A great set, by the way. Rawhide Season 1 is great. I have Rawhide, the first season, also in the basement. I actually once, around about a year and a half ago, I sat back and I watched the whole thing. Fantastic show. I really enjoyed Rawhide, and I like the quality of the actors that were in it and that did the series. It was amazing. Next up is one that everybody should watch, especially now. It's a fun time now. There's a Blu-ray edition of this. It's probably way better than this, but it doesn't look as sexy as this. I'll tell you that right now. And this is Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? This is the original Scooby-Doo series. It's now out on Blu-ray in a haunted house format with a little Scooby Funko. But this was the original DVD series. They actually reprinted this with a cardboard like mystery machine. And I'm like, I'm not about the cardboard mystery machine. All I want the actual working wheels mystery machine with the Scooby and Shaggy in the front. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You is the jump on spot for horror for a lot of kids, especially in my era. It's down to less than $50. See, it's $132 here in Canada, but if it's down to less than $50 in the US, grab that right now. That is an awesome price for that. This ran. You are never too old for Scooby-Doo or cartoons. I have a large Hanna-Barbera collection. And nothing fills me or my better half with joy more than we sit down and watch Scooby-Doo. Over the last 3 days, we've been watching Scooby-Doo The Dynamite Hour, which is a Scooby-Doo show that was kind of like really in there when I was younger. Now this one here has a, see if I can show it here. Comes in like this, just a simple done set. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You lasted for 3 seasons. Just amazing stuff. I can watch this over and over again. After this, it went on to 73, I think. Then it was showed reruns from 73 to 76. In 76, it started up the Scooby-Doo Dynamite Hour. That's when they did more, when they started doing new Scooby-Doo. There, Wim's looking it up. Wim knows it. 76 was the first new Scooby-Doo since this series here. And just to let you know, are they a chronological order? I don't know. I hope so. But the Scooby-Doo Dynamite Hour, if you got this and you don't have the Dynamite Hour ones, really good. Do I have any of the Looney Tunes? Yes, I have all 5, or is it 6 of the Golden collection, and I have all 3 volumes of the Platinum Blu-ray collection as well. And I have some of the single releases that had stuff on the that weren't included on the Gold or Platinum series releases. I still got around 3 or 4 more to get, but I'm a big Looney Tunes fan and I watched it a lot. Ford at Fox, oh, The Godfather. See, great suggestions. And as I go through this, guys, drop your suggestions for box sets people should watch here in the comment section, because I've only got a few here. I'd like to know what stuff you guys are going to go to with. Now, the first of the box sets, we'll go with one of the first 2 indicator ones, and we'll start with this one first. I actually spoke to George earlier today. He was watching through his indicator stuff, and he actually said that the one that I'm about to show you was his favorite so far of the indicator box sets that he's watched, and he's watched a lot of the indicator box sets. And I got to say, this is an amazing set. If you don't have it and you're familiar with these films and the actors and directors that are involved with it, this is definitely should be on your watch list. And this is a Samuel Fuller at Columbia set. It is an incredible set. Samuel Fuller would become like this, like big indie director. No problem, Paul. I like Assassin's Creed too, by the way. But from 1937 to 1961, he worked with Columbia. He started out as a writer, a screenwriter for Columbia, and he would eventually segue into directing his own films because he was not satisfied with the output of the films that were coming out that were being written by him but not directed. Now, that being said, there were some great directors that had a hand in doing some of Samuel Fuller's work. One of the films on here is actually directed by Douglas Sirk, and Douglas Sirk is an incredible director. I was reading your comments and I totally, I've got actually the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles van, that's downstairs too. It was actually right under the Mystery Machine. I just chose to bring up one cartoon series this summer out. So on this set here, we got It Happens in Hollywood, Adventure in Sahara, Power of the Press, Shockproof, Scandal Sheet, and the 2 that he directed, The Crimson Kimono and Underworld USA. It's a great series. The feature-wise on here, just look. I know you're not going to be able to see this, but it's just all this. These are all special features. and it is insane the amount of work and effort that Indicator puts into their box sets. If you've never looked into Indicator or picked up any of their box sets, I do definitely recommend it. Dave just mentioned the Bloodthirsty trilogy, and by the way, that gets a strong, strong recommendation from me. It is an amazing box set and something I'm going to be looking at in the next little while too, because I will be doing a J-horror box set, basically an Asian horror box set. Is that one out of print, the Twilight Zone one? Yeah, if you ever get a chance to grab that one, you probably got it 4K. But if anybody, I got like this, it's like a cube, a Twilight Zone cube. It has the original series and the 80s series, and comes with a reprint of the of one of the Twilight Zone comic books as well. And when you buy it, it's one of 4 comic books, so you don't know which reprint you're getting. It's a really good set. I'll showcase it on here again sometime because I really think it's worth looking into, especially right now if you're home and you got a chance to just put on something. Twilight Zone is a great show, and it's timeless. It's one of those timeless series. But for the people that are Indicator fans, Sim and Dave, have you picked up the Samuel Fuller one yet? This is actually a really good one. And just to let you see the artwork without the, which I really like, it's got kind of a cool, kind of noir-esque aspect to it. And you're getting, was it 6 or 7? 7 films. So, which is a great bunch of films. As you can see, every Indicator release has this with the letting you know what your number is and showing you what the boxes look like on the inside. Hey there, Brian. Welcome to the Sunday Night Blue Show, first edition. And it is an incredible set. But I'm not going to stop with that, just that one. Oh, definitely. In my opinion, like I don't want to offend any Twilight Time collectors, because I do have some Twilight Time stuff. Indicator really blows them out of the water when it comes to the way that they do the releases. And the thing is, how we got into Indicator in the first place is my better half is a huge fan of Ray Harryhausen, a big Sinbad fan. She had tried to get Sinbad in the Eye of the Tiger. It sold out in Twilight Time, and it was super expensive to get it in the second-hand market. So when she noticed that Amazon.co.uk was having a sale on a Sinbad box set. Was I ever into the show Perfect Strangers? I know the show. I used to watch it, actually. It was a spin-off of the series Family Matters, actually. Is Family Matters? I think it's a spin-off of Family Matters. Family Matters was a spin-off of Perfect Strangers. Got it in reverse. But yeah, I actually did like it. Belky and all this. But she got the Sinbad Indicator set. I'm so glad she did, because we got it. We were blown away by the features and the presentation and just how good the Sinbad set was. After that, we just started buying every box set that Indicator had out. We're still behind on a few, but they just started putting the stuff over and over again that we utterly loved. And I could go for the Hammer ones right now and show you that, but you guys know that stuff, so I wanted to do something a bit different and show you some different Indicator stuff. And this one here is another fantastic one, and this is 5 Tall Tales, the Bud Boddicker set, and Randolph Scott. Now, did you watch the Bud Boddicker set yet, Dave? This is a great set. I'm a huge fan of Randolph Scott. He's one of my favorite Western actors. Okay, this is going to give me some slack, but I prefer watching Randolph Scott. I find him more realistic than John Wayne in the Western roles. There's just something about him. He's got this presence and this aura that I really enjoy, and I really felt that the work that he did with Bud Boddicker was really extremely well done. These are some great Westerns on here, and again, there's a bunch of them on here. It's not just like 3 Westerns. There's got the Tall T, Decisions at Sundown, Buchanan Rides Alone, Ride Lonesome, which is a great Western, by the way, and Comanche Station. So there's 5 Westerns on this one here. A great set, and there's my number right there. So anytime you get an Indicator set, one, it's solid. Just to let you guys know, I showed you guys the box set from the Vinegar Syndrome stuff. I know, but it's like a solid set. So it's like a chipboard type of set. What you got here, rather than like a, hey there, rather than the regular stuff. This is the. I do have the 3 Worlds of Gulliver. Because I have both of the Harryhausen sets that came out from Indicator. They did a Sinbad set, and right after that they did the Ray Harryhausen set Volume 1 and Ray Harryhausen set Volume 2. I think one of the Harryhausen sets may now be able to print. I'm not sure both of them are or not, but I think they've released some of them with separate releases, with like the booklets and stuff, which is what you lose after they come out there. So there we go with the Indicator sets. Indicator is a fantastic company. Ronald Reagan did a lot more of the kind of the B westerns, and I like B movies, so I would have seen a lot of those. The last movie I remember that Ronald Reagan did, he was like the bad guy, right? The Killers or something like that. Trying to remember. Don't want to get it wrong. But yeah, I liked some of his stuff, but it was like more of the cheesier, fun stuff. All right, next up is one that has a lot of films on it. A lot of classic films, a lot of watching, a lot of special features, a great booklet. And if you don't have it in your collection, you can grab it. I do recommend that you pick it up. I know they put out a newer release of this one, I think with like a Psycho House type of thing, which is really cool. But I could not rebuy it just to get that. This is the Alfred Hitchcock, the Masterpiece Collection. They put this out on Blu-ray, and before they put it out on a kind of a red velvet, like kind of faux velvet looking DVD collection as well. Y50. Oh, I love the Y50. Did you get the big one? Isn't that heavy? I got the Y50 set too, like the long one, and it's heavy as heck, man. Hitchcock, Cinema Dave. Sorry, 4K. I had that reel set in my hands. I was in Ontario at the time. We had gotten coming back from where was it? From Morocco, and there was a layover, so they couldn't get us there, and so we were we're stuck there overnight. So we're walking down Yonge Street, going down through that area. We're going into these like movie shops because it's me, right? I'm gonna go in the movie shops. The kids are there, my better half's there, and we go into this one place, and it's kind of a movie store, pawn shop, that type of thing. Kind of a record store, movie store. I don't think it's around there anymore. So I grabbed up this this Hitchcock set, and it was the real set. It was actually really cheap. I think it was like $30 or something like that. And I said, I'll think about it. I'm gonna come back for this. So I gotta think about it. And I put it down, and we went up the road, and I think it was not a Sunrise Records, but something like Suncoast or something like that. That's no longer there. And I went into that store and I picked up some stuff, just some random kind of cheesy stuff. And I totally forgot about the Hitchcock set that I was going to pick up. And I didn't remember it again until we were on the plane on the way back. And I could have kicked myself because I never saw it afterwards. I think it became expensive to get after that. Though luckily I earned I'm not sure if it's the same year or just, I think it was the same year because my better half remembered that. And she got me this was as a surprise. What would I choose, the Severin or the Vinegar Syndrome? If you can only get one, you mean? And they're both really good. What type of giallo are you into? If you want pure giallo, like kind of in its like the history of giallo, then I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say go for the Severin first. Get the Umberto Lenzi, Carol Baker one, and grab the Forgotten Giallo one afterwards. I love the Forgotten Giallo one. I'll watch it over and over again. I think everybody should have it. But I'm gonna be honest. As a giallo fan, I'd say go for the Umberto Lenzi, Carol Baker set first. There's going to be a unity to them. There are some great commentaries on them. You're going to get some soundtracks as well, and it's their first non-flimsy box set that they're putting out, aside from the L. Amson set. And so I would say go with that. If you're like, I know a lot of us right now, prices, we're stretched a bit. So go with the Severin set. If you enjoy the Severin set and you like it, and you find that you're liking getting into giallo and stuff, save it for the Vinegar Syndrome set down the road. You can probably grab it during the next sale. So that's my honest opinion. I think both sets are equally worth having, but the truth of the matter is that not all of us can afford to get stuff. Like the Vinegar Syndrome sale is coming. I'm getting you guys ready for the Vinegar Syndrome sale. I personally, don't worry, you're going to see the white box set too. Haven't. I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford it. And I don't think I'm going to afford the Vinegar Syndrome sale this time around. I may not be able to get even one film from the sale. That is the honest to God's truth. That's how low it is money-wise in my house right now. It's the sale I get most excited for. Last year I had a big box of stuff. This year it's probably not going to happen. But it is what it is. Yeah, neither one's going to be reduced for a sale. They're both new. But if you're grabbing one, then you just grab what you can afford. I mean, if one of them is cheaper and that's the one you want to go with, go for cheaper. I completely understand that. If you're going for one to get introduced and know more about Giallo, Lenzi's really good, and his stuff is highly underrated. So we'll there. I hope that helped out a little bit anyway. So that because you're gonna get some pure like Italian Giallo in your blood first, and then you can like branch out into forgotten stuff and the Spanish Giallo and stuff like that. Not a problem. I love these questions, by the way. Alfred Hitchcock, the Masterpiece Collection, definitely worth getting if you don't have it. The set includes, in my opinion, some of his best films. It doesn't include one of his greatest films, though, which is Strangers on a Train, which is the film which is a Patricia Highsmith novel that he got, and I'll tell you why he got it. He got it because he didn't get the Talented Mr. Ripley that was made as Purple Noon, and he was really pissed about that. So he got the next one, Strangers on a Train, which is really good. Count Dracula's Great Love, I think you're really going to like. We're going to get a little bit more into Paul Nash here in a minute, just so you know. So on this one here, did I read the novel? Years ago, actually, I did. I went into this period of where I spent all my time at the library. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I read way too. I read more than I read some crappy stuff. The Beaver from Leave the Beaver. Which one was he in? I don't remember. So on here we got okay, we'll start with this. Is that the first one? No. Okay, so it starts off with Saboteur. Yeah, that's a priceless one. The rest of which is actually a cool little film. My favorite film, Shadow of a Doubt. I still consider this Hitchcock's best film and definitely his most personal film. It was done during this time his mother passed away. And his pain and his kind of thinking back kind of bleeds its way into the film itself. Next up is Rope, which is a really, really cool film. I love the way this is done. If you like editing, Rope is a really good one to watch. The classic The Rear Window with Jimmy Stewart would become the everyman for him. The Trouble with Harry. Some people don't like this one, but I actually love The Trouble with Harry. It's funny and just quirky and weird. It's got that kind of black sense of humor that Hitchcock would kind of infuse into most of his films. The Man Who Knew Too Much. This is not my favorite version of this film. I actually enjoy the original Man Who Knew Too Much better, but I do like this. This is Dorsey and Que Sera Sera, and I like that song. Next up is Vertigo. I was not a fan of Vertigo when I first saw it because I didn't like the ending. It was a bit of a downer for me, but I actually grew to love Vertigo. I still like Obsession better. I know I'm the only person in the world that's going to say that, but I do. Next up is the North by Northwest, which is a great little film. Psycho, of course, a classic Hitchcock film. I do not consider it the first slasher film. I'm sorry, I don't think of it as a slasher. The Birds is one that actually took a while to, hey there, Batman, to get with me. Marnie's an interesting film. Torn Curtain has a brutal death scene, and that is worth the movie alone. There's a brutal death scene in Torn Curtain that's definitely worth checking out. Next up, we got Topaz. Frenzy. One of my highly favorite films. I think this one is completely underrated. Not enough people talk about Frenzy. Rear Window, Vertigo, and Notorious. You gotta give another look to Shadow of Doubt, just to get it on your list. Frenzy, by the way, is this is pure Hitchcock. And this is more of kind of the style of the stuff that he was into. It's a bit of a disturbing film, um, but got enjoyed. And of course, his last film was Family Plot. I can understand you hating the ending, man. Some stuff was a bit of a mixed bag, but I agree with Indy that Frenzy is top notch, Hitchcock, and it is just incredible the way that he does it. Nemesis one, that's a fun box set. I actually just mentioned Tall Tales, and I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, actually, George. Next up is the white one, the one that well, it's kind of white, that Brian asked about. And this is an Arrow release. And this is one I'm going to be looking at over the next few days because I'm going to be doing a kind of an Asian horror video coming up in about a week or two. And this is the Ring collection. I really enjoyed this one. I love this. I did not pick this set up when it had the book with it because I didn't like the cover. Aesthetics are important to me. When it was re-released with this cover, I actually grabbed it right away. I wish I could, maybe I'll find the book down the road, or maybe Arrow, or you know, because they do put it books too. Maybe they'll put the book on its own sometime. I would like to see that, and I'll pick that up then. But really good. 4 films on here. I know it looks like there's 3, but there's actually a 4th film called Spiral, which is the second ring. But this, you got the one with the book, I'm guessing, because you put it out with a different cover. Oh, it's shot with Harry. Okay, actually I forgot that. I haven't seen them in a long time. Again, there's great stuff on here. One of my favorite things on here is a video essay that's done by Jasper Sharp called Spook, Size, and Videotapes on the J-horror phenomenon. If you haven't watched that, really worth checking out. It's probably this. It's the key featurette on this one here. There's a great one on The Ring too, but the Jasper Sharp one deals with all of J-horror. The different franchises that came out, the different films, or the origin of a lot of the J-horror and exactly how it became popular, its decline, and the decline of companies that actually became big during the J-horror aspect of it. And it's just a really cool box. So I mean, yeah, the prequels there. The price. You mean 0? So everything that was in the box set that you got is in this box set, just minus the book. So The Ring, and of course The Ring 2, which also has Spiral. So we got both versions of that, and Ring 0. So all 4 of them are there actually. So this is a 4-disc set, and I'm gonna finish Ice Cinematheque with 2 Scream Factories that I think are really cool and I think people should be checking out. And then we'll go into some other stuff. I got a couple of book recommendations as well. I'm going to give you guys a couple of podcast recommendations to check out. And then we're going to open up the floor to even more questions. And we're going to keep this free flowing. Next up is Paul Naschy Collection Volume 2. It is an excellent collection of Paul Naschy films. The first volume is a little bit pricey right now, at least where I've seen it at. I want to grab it. But I got this one first for a reason. There are some great films on here. You get Hunchback of the Morgue, which I think is a really underrated Paul Naschy film. There's Exorcism. I enjoyed that one. Dragonfly for Each Corpse is actually a Paul Naschy giallo that he did, so that's actually a pretty cool one. Hey there, John. The Werewolf and the Yeti is one of his ongoing series of werewolf films. And The Devil's Possessed, again, is another one of those cool ones. But Dragonfly for Each Corpse was initially the reason that I picked this one up. Because I really wanted that film, and Werewolf and the Yeti too. But every film on this one here for me is a solid Naschy film. So when you said you got Count Dracula's Great Love, I wasn't joking when I said I was going to talk about Naschy afterwards. So the Scream Factory ones come with a kind of a booklet, and with some write-ups on the films here. Unfortunately, like not a ton of stuff, but an interesting read. And the sets come. It's definitely worth getting. I mean, the only difference between the sets, one's Blu-ray, one's DVD. My dad has the Velvet one, by the way. The Velvet um, is I think there's one movie less or one movie different in the Velvet set, but it's definitely worth getting. I'll be honest with you, if even though I got the Blu-ray set, just for the aesthetic look of it alone, I would pick up the DVD set too if I was at flea market or a place and I saw that, I would grab that. So they have it's pretty standard. Each movie gets its own disc, but it's pretty standard packaging. I was kind of hoping for more of elaborate packaging from Scream Factory for the set, but still, it's definitely worth getting. 5 Naschy films at a time when Naschy for a while was not at all being represented in the industry, so it was good to see Naschy getting a bit of love. Last so far, but not least by any means, is one of my favorite kind of like Spanish, like found footage type series that they put out there. And well, starts with found footage anyway. And that is the Wreck collection. Now, aside from like being some really kind of cool kick-ass films that are pretty like, can be pretty brutal, pretty scary at times, especially the first one. Wreck is a really good series. And almost more than anything, Wreck is probably one of the best special feature represented. Exactly, that's the shutdown like Wreck. One of the best representations that they've done, and they'll just say like on here, they'll say, well, making of featurettes, behind the scenes footage, outtakes, deleted scenes, trailers, and more. And if you take it at just that, then you're like, oh well, that's not a lot of stuff. Like, oh, there's some featurettes and stuff like that. But no, some of the making of featurettes on some of the Wreck films are actually longer than the films themselves. So that's the cool part. You'll watch like Wreck or Wreck 2, and then you go into watching the documentary, and then you'll realize that I probably should have started earlier because this documentary is about 2 hours long. And they are Spanish. Like this is the original Wreck right here. I'll show you the 4 of them. Do I have them in here or do I have them in my case? I got them in here, good. There's Wreck 2. And Wreck 3 is one of my favorite covers. I love Wreck 3. Some people don't. It's the being watched about the tag, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprising actually, but I like the wedding one. Oh, I love Chris, I love both those films. I have them in my collection. My Bloody Valentine and Urban Legend, fantastic. This is Wreck 3, and this is what I call the wedding one. She's a bit of a kick-ass character, and I really enjoy that. And the one that I have not yet watched, Wreck 4 Apocalypse. Great cover. Don't know a lot about it. There's, again, like the live making ofs and stuff on there as well, so there's going to be a ton of features. It'll take forever to get through this set. Eventually I will do like a review of this entire set and series here. So there you go. That are 9 Blu-ray box sets to watch when you're boxed in. Wreck's not really that much to slide. Have you ever seen Quarantine, Paul? The American movie Quarantine? I'll wait for the answer on that one. The reason I'm asking, because Quarantine is almost a shot-for-shot remake of the movie Wreck. They kind of like, eventually they'll change like certain aspects of it. But if you've ever seen Quarantine, it's like basically what it is there's this girl. She's like a news reporter and her cameraman, and they're following along this with this firefighter team, and it's been a pretty boring night. The team gets sent over to this house, to this building, because something's going on there, and they get into the building, and before they know it, there's there's kind of a there's some, I guess, zombies, kind of a pandemic of some type going on in that building, and they get stuck in the building with them, and they don't have a way out. Remake is definitely not better. It's a good film, but yeah, but Wreck is scary, and it stands the test of time. One of the pet peeves for me with the poster of Quarantine is they said, you know what we need to do? We need to take the last scene of the film and make it the box cover. That always annoyed the hell out of me, but I guess. Predator box set, actually, that's a cool one. I haven't seen the new Predator one yet. I've seen part of it, but I didn't get into it. I definitely want to do a video with Stuart Midnight as soon as we can figure out something to do together. Heath is a great guy. By the way, if you're not watching Stuart Midnight's videos, you're missing out because he's putting out some really quality content right now. And I'm going to recommend his channel right now because I want to do some recommendations on the Sunday Night Blues show. I'm going to do recommendations every time for different things. I recommended like some box sets for you. I'm going to recommend that you check out Stuart Midnight's channel. He does a lot of good stuff. He's in contact with a bunch of companies that send him some amazing stuff, and he reviews it. It's him and his wife on there a lot of times too, and incredible stuff. Don't bother to hunt. Oh, I'm disappointed because the Hunting Grounds game was put out by the guys that made Friday the 13th game, which was incredible. So that's a bit of a bummer. I'm sad. Yeah, Heath is a great YouTuber, does great content. Not sure if Cinema Dave is still here, but Cinema Dave and Heath actually did a kind of a joint crossover video. Super jealous of that. That was cool. I love Kong Skull Island, actually. Actually, so did my better half. Like, she liked Kong Skull Island better than she liked better than she liked the original Godzilla one that came. You know, not the original Godzilla, but the new Godzilla that came out. Like, she thought it was okay, but the characters were kind of bland. And I agree. And it was the first Kong movie, spoiler alert, where Kong lives, and he's kind of badass. And I really enjoyed that. Good Criterion to Path to Glory. I need to get that, actually. I know somebody said in the UK, I think it was like, they say Eureka put it out, and here in North America it was put out by Criterion. Oh, don't give up my channel. He does some good stuff. I'm glad that you like my channel, but check his channel too because he does some amazing stuff. Peter Jackson's King Kong is one of those movies. I was asked if I've ever walked out on a movie. I no. But I do know that I remember going to Blockbuster, and I was picking up some stuff, some games actually, picking up some video games, and there were like 3 or 4 guys that were there, and there's a couple of them behind the counter too, and they were talking about Peter Jackson's King Kong, and the fact that so many people walked out during the film. It is a bit long in the tooth. Some of the casting is a little bit but I enjoyed it. I like monster movies. Yeah, a lot of people walked out apparently during that movie. 2 book recommendations for today before I go any farther with this. And this week's book spotlight is on the Tri Haworth books. Specifically the 2 that I got here. Actually, I think Fantasy Island, I haven't watched much of it yet, but from what I've heard about Fantasy Island, John, I think I'm going to enjoy it. I think it's going to be fun. Especially right now, you're looking at Giallo, and you're looking at what Giallo should I get, the Severance, should I get the Vinegar Syndrome, should I get any of that type of stuff. So, you put out 3 volumes of this. I only have the first one so far. This is So Deadly, So Perverse, 50 years of Italian Giallo films. Volumes 1 and 2 are the 50 years of Italian Giallo films. If you want to see Giallo that aren't like Italian, like some Spanish ones and other stuff like that, they put out a 3rd volume to cover those as well. The Wind, you mean the Nico Mastorakis film? Not that I remember, actually. So my dad just recently watched it, though. Here's like I actually have never walked out on a film. If I probably would have went, if I'd gone in to see Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 in theater, thinking back, Yes, I kind of would have. I probably would have walked out on that one, but but I haven't. There are some great pictures, a great write up. It goes through. Uh, oh, it is a great book. You like it, Andy, for sure. And it really goes through like some of the stuff. Here's like an early artwork for of all things the birth crystal plumage, and you're going to notice what the heck does this have to do with the birth crystal plumage? But it goes through and goes through by year. It lists Orgasmo here, by the way, the one coming out from. You can see this is the poster there. That's actually the what's on the T-shirt from Severin. I'm in Giallo films. Well, it goes through. This one goes from 1963 to 1973, so it goes through the first 10 years of Giallo, and it's extremely well done. There's some great like write-ups and reviews, and it's a good way to kind of like dive into the Giallo genre. If you have a Kindle or a device that you can read on, the third volume does have a Kindle edition. If you want to go that way, I do like to get the covers, like the actual books. But if you don't mind going the Kindle edition, because the third one is like pretty expensive, but for the Kindle version is $9.99, so that's always a good thing. Yeah, the first book that he ever wrote though, and this is a revised expanded edition because he took back the first one. He said, I don't really like everything that's in it. I want to rewrite it, and he did. He rewrote it a lot and expanded it. And this is The Haunted World of Mario Bava. I really, you guys know I love Bava. I love the Italian film genre, especially the horror and the giallo. So this is a really cool book on Bava with some great stuff in here, some amazing pictures, and just some incredible stuff. I like Weekend at Bernie's. Actually, I saw that in theater too, as a double feature. Oh, wait a minute, I did walk out on a movie then. Because there's Weekend at Bernie's and Beethoven. Not that Beethoven was a bad movie, but I'd gotten through watching Weekend at Bernie's. And Beethoven came on, and I was just too tired. So I walked out on Beethoven. I got to watch it later on. Nothing against Beethoven, it's just at that time. And just so much cool stuff here in this book on Bava as well. So the 2 book recommendations for this week. And if you want me to, guys, I can try to do this every Sunday night and give you like some recommendations on movies, books, podcasts, all that type of stuff. Is So Deadly, So Perverse and The Haunted World of Mario Bava. So definitely 2 books to check out. Really good reads. Troy Haworth is a really good writer, and I'll be doing more as we go through. I did have none like hard to go through a book to recommend to you tonight, because I thought it would be a fun one. If you are a comic book fan, then Marvel put out a bunch of things called Essentials, which are basically telephone book size. Have you ever cried during a movie? I probably cried during a lot of movies. Probably cried during commercials, for crying out loud. I'm a softie. But here's one here, just a fun one called Marvel Team Up, and basically this was a comic series that had like a Spider-Man. He would team up with a different hero every issue. Every once in a while, you get ones where you'd cross over, like would go like 2. There's Spider-Man and the Wasp, for instance. They're all in all in black and white. I particularly got these because I went to art school. I'm definitely not an artist. We're just gonna put that out there right away. But I do find that when I got like a black and white one, I can actually go into. The Howard Duck was awesome. I can sometimes get like charcoals and I'll like kind of duplicate some of the pages and some of the panels, because it's kind of fun to do. Something I just do in my spare time. I actually should probably get back into that. It's been a long time since I've done that. So there we go. I gave you book recommendations. I gave you movie recommendations, and because I want to do this now, and you get different ones every week from me. Podcast recommendations. Just a couple to check out that I personally enjoy. Obviously, you know that Pure Cinema and Just the This are ones you already should be listening to anyway. So I don't think I gotta recommend those too much. And I mentioned Fragments of Fear with Rachel Nesbitt, so that's another one that should be on your list. As far as like other things, obviously Shockwaves is probably everybody already listens to. There's kind of a Movies That Made Us, which is pretty good. Supporting characters is definitely Adam Caesar channel is amazing, and I do watch the channel actually. So definitely, if you ever chat with the guy, tell him I'm actually a fan of his channel. But I want to give you something different. Like obviously there's things like Projection Booth that everybody knows about, which is great. The Steer Continues, everybody knows their channel. But there's like smaller, kind of weirder channels, stuff like Teen Creeps, which is a podcast about those J novels, those J horror novels, the junior horror novels. Is a cool one. I would like to be able to like give you a good wrestling podcast too, but honestly, I'll have to go with Vince Russo's The Brand. We'll go with that one because you can't believe anything that comes out of Bruce Pritchard's mouth. It's entertaining, but I don't believe a word he says. So we can't recommend that one, can we? And there's things like Screen Drafts, which is a really cool one where they have different people on and they're like choosing different films to go with. But I'm going to choose different ones every week, and I'll list out some podcasts to check out. It's Savannah. Savannah's a. Did you? Okay, I got to ask you this. So, how was your experience with Savannah, Brian? Because my experience with Savannah was incredible. We talked several times during. Of course, oh yeah, against the shirt. uh, I talked with Savannah several times during the convention. Each time was more pleasurable than the last. He always knew who I was, never forgot who I was, and we talked about different things like from like movies that he wanted to do, like some spec scripts that he did, and films that were kind of like goals and dreams for him. Would I recommend Beyond the Door, one being released by Arrow? I would actually. There are three Beyond the Door films. Neither one of them has anything to do with the other films. They're all three separate films. Beyond the Door was a successful film, and it's a cool exploitation film. Beyond the Door 2, by the way, is Maribeth Shock. It's just renamed. So that's what Beyond the Door 2 is. Beyond the Door 3 was, I think, Train Amok or something like that. And they renamed it to Beyond the Door 3 because it kind of gave Beyond the Door was a marketable title to go with. I guess there's an extra. Yeah, you could say. It's not quality of The Exorcist, but it's a fun film. You've been in a makeup contest, dude. You have so many interesting stories, man. Yeah, YouTube as AEW Unrestricted. If you like wrestling and you're looking for that on YouTube, there's the AEW stuff. NWA Power, the show comes on wrestling as well. Made Up Monsters is that the book that was written by Alan Ormsby, or is that a different one? I remember this monster book that I got from Scholastics. It's like thin, and it had like how to do all the monsters, Universal monsters and stuff like that. And I'd had like this greenish cover, and I like the Wolfman stuff in it. And it was a really cool book, and it was actually done by Alan Ormsby. I was more of a WCW fan back in the day than I was of WWE and WWF at the time. But I watched them both. Have a great night there. Um, but yeah, I also love his Return of the Living Dead. Oh, nice going, Regman. What do you think? It is a good set, isn't it? And did you watch yet the Jonathan Ross Russ Meyer like special? That's really cool. Oh, there are some really fun, neat ways to do makeup, and some of those early books that are on makeup are really interesting. I would love to get. I used to have the two Tom Savini books. They weren't makeup books, but they showed some of his work called Grand Illusions. Grand Illusions 1 and 2, and I think he's putting out a big like a coffee book like edition with both of them. You did see Savini from Dust to Dawn. He played Sex Machine. That was his character's name. And Howard the Duck was in the MCU because I love Howard the Duck, but basically because the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn's a huge fan. I'm so jealous. Where do you live again, Brian? Where? Just in case I have to come there eventually. Who's my favorite WCW wrestler? That's a good one. I mean, like as a homegrown WCW wrestler. I was a big fan of the. Don't laugh. Thanks, Cinema Dave. I'll come in again. By the way, it's always great to have you in here. One of these days we'll do a crossover thing. We'll do something. I'll find a crossover for us eventually, Cinema Dave, if you're interested. Sting obviously is one of the big guys, but for me, it was one of the older guys to actually get started at the time, and that was DDP. I liked his music. I liked his diamond cutter. I thought like he did a great job of getting over with the crowd. For me, he is the real people's champ. I was a super big fan of Diamond Dallas Page, so I was super excited when he was going to come in WWF or WWE, I guess. And then I waited for him to come with WCW, but I realized that that they were going to go a different way with DDP, and instead they were gonna make him Undertaker's wife stalker, and I cried a bit inside because I was a big fan of the whole "it's me, it's me, it's DDP." We'll find something, trust me, because love the channel. EastEnders. I'm actually an EastEnders fan. I used to have my for 8 years my head was shaved, by the way, like completely shaved bald, and I had like a goatee. So yes, I very much looked like one of the Mitchell brothers. So there you go. Yeah, I very much looked like a very thuggish, and that's the reason my better half. Like during this here whole like stuck in the house type of thing, at one point I said, maybe I'll shave my head because that used to be the way that I had it, and because I don't have a lot of hair. Like there's a shocker. And she's like, yes, you could do that, but remember, you're gonna look like a thug again. And I said, okay, well, maybe not the best idea. So I ended up not shaving my head, but I thought about it for a while to like just have the beard and like shave the head. But I remember what I looked like before, and I scared old people, so no, not gonna do that. All right, we've gone through book reviews, box sets. I mentioned podcasts. I've talked about some other channels on here. Europe is well, no, there's a couple others because he did one like a studio on Valley of the Dolls, which will be on Valley of the Dolls, which is not going to be in that set. But Arrow put that out on its own actually. With first he put it out, and he did one called 7 Minutes. He put that out initially together with 7 Minutes, but yeah, 7 Minutes is another one to check out, by the way. It's really cheap to get. It's usually on DVD and Arrow to go along with your box set. But it's fine. It's a Mondo film. Do I like Russ Meyer or Herschel Gordon Lewis more? Hands down, Russ Meyer. Nothing wrong with Herschel Gordon Lewis. His films are fun, but I would say, I'll be honest. Like Russ Meyer's is a better director and a better cinematographer as well. It's obvious when you look at their stuff that Russ Meyer really knows Actually, I've been getting the Matt Frewer thing for years, so I'm not actually surprised with that one. The voice is similar too. I love John Waters actually. I love his stuff. Some of his stuff can be harder watches, like the some of the more intensely gross stuff. But I do enjoy a lot of his films. Fanny Hill, I forgot about Fanny Hill. That is a Russ Meyer film. Because there's a couple that didn't make it onto the on the set, the ones they couldn't get. Oh yeah, definitely Pink Flamingo was a bit of a hard watch. I liked it, but it's definitely a bit harder watch. I got issues with Joe Bob. Like I love the guy and stuff that he like as a guy that like did film. I got issues with Joe Bob and some of the stuff that he does, but and obviously I don't agree with him on a lot on a few things. I mentioned it on here. Uh, One of the most baffling things was the guy didn't understand Black Christmas, which to me is cinema 101. But I'll leave it at that. Open all hours, keeping up appearances. I recommend if you like those, then get oh god, don't have the names gone for me now. I can actually remember the theme song. It is awful, actually. I try. I own Bloodsucking Freaks, by the way. It's not a good film, not at all. And maybe some people like. If you like it, then cool. That's awesome. It's just it's not. It's definitely not a me thing. Only Fools and Horses. That's what I'm trying to think. Oh my God, how can I forget Only Fools and Horses? It's only one of my favorite sitcoms. Yes, Only Fools and Horses. Definitely a BBC series. I think it's BBC or ITV. One and a UK series worth checking out. Now, remember that it started off in like the kind of the Thatcher era, so there's some stuff in there. It's going to be stuck with that. You like Blessing? I can't. I've tried and I've watched it. I've definitely seen it. I've seen it a couple times. I even own it. Misfits is great too. Misfits, by the way, is a UK show about these people. They're basically they're students, and they've all gotten in trouble. They're literally they're misfits, and they're like on to garbage detail, that type of thing, community service, and they get superpowers. Really, really cool show. Actually, yes. On the Buses, the films were put out by Hammer Studios. Um, I haven't seen On the Buses in a long time. Much like I haven't seen like the Doctor films in a long time. But there's a series of Doctor films as well. I'm a big fan of On the Buses, Carry On, that type of thing. Some of the humor probably doesn't carry over as well today, but for me, I actually enjoyed them. I thought they were fun and they're kind of cheesy and cheeky, and a more innocent time. A better version of Heroes, actually. I love Benny Hill. I grew up with Benny Hill. As far as Max Headroom, yes, me and my cousin had at a keyboard. He knows how to play keyboard, right? Well, region is region zero. So the region zero means it can be played on any player. So if you look for something that says region zero, that means it's all region. Yeah, my cousin had a keyboard, and what we would do is we would make like Max Headroom and stories, and I would be Max Headroom. Have a great evening there, George. Enjoy your set, man. Let me know what you think of the Bud Bellicker set, because I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, there you go. And I'm going to see if I missed any of your comments here or questions as I go through. Have I seen the fades? I think I have. Not all of it, though. Show Marrow Children. I also love Marrow Children. Remember the episode they got got like a big uproar about it, so they pulled it off the air. One of my favorite like British shows, like when I was growing up, that showed on our CBC television, 'cause I'm Canadian, and we have like a Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. That's like the name of our, I guess like a PBS type channel for you guys. Was a show called The Two Ronnies, which had Ronnie Barker and Ronnie Corbett. They would go on to do other things as well, but I thought the show was brilliant, and they were so far ahead of their time. You can go on YouTube now and watch some of The Two Ronnies and the comedy over on some like the like the new stuff at the time, maybe not so much, but their skits and stuff stand the test of time for sure. America with Chris Christopherson and Mary Hemingway. Well, yeah, I think I have. I don't know if I've seen it. King of Queens. Somebody offered me a King of Queens like box set once. I remember I was at a thing, but didn't get it. He did open all hours, yeah. I love the two Ronnies. It was just something that stood the test of time with me. And one day my mom was here with her boyfriend, and we sat down. They were waiting to get on the boat to go over to Newfoundland, and we sat down. We watched like probably like 2.5 straight hours of the two Ronnies on YouTube. Fantastic. I would love to have sense. Are You Being Served? I owned. I also owned the short-lived Are You Being Served Again, which was an Australian series with the original cast. So I have all the Are You Being Served as far as I know. Porridge I got the complete Porridge. The neat thing about Porridge, which does have Ronnie Barker in it, by the way, he's the star of it, which you know because you mentioned Porridge, is that it has the kind of the reboot, like pilot reboot as well, which I got to watch. I haven't watched it yet. Am I close to the ocean? Very close. There's actually a ferry which goes from Nova Scotia to Newfoundland, and I'm just like in 5 minutes riding from that. Mr. Bean, I love Mr. Bean. Pauline from the East. Yes, she was. I love these centers. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big soap guy, and still like that comes from. I grew up in born in the '70s, grew up in the '80s. At the time period that I grew up was like this golden era for daytime shows. There was a ton of daytime shows on, and they were popular. Everybody watched them. If you were like a teenager at that point in time, I love Fawlty Towers. Fawlty Towers is one of the perfect sitcoms. Every episode is good. It is so well done. It is so well put together. Another World was the only one that I remember that ran. I think it's the only one. I gotta think now. One of the only ones anyway that ran for 90 minutes. Another World was one. It had this like great period. It had this boom period, and it had this period where they basically decided when they could get away with like kind of partial nudity, kind of light nudity, on daytime. So Another World started to hire, and did a lot of them, hire like a lot of like not so great, like very good looking girls, but not very great actresses on the show, and you get to see them, and they'd all have their like see-through shirts on and stuff like that. Very short period, didn't last very long. But Another World did like a period where they did like 90-minute episodes of their show. I know that it ran through a summer, and I think was right after Texas got taken off. I did watch Edge of Night. That one, by the way, is a murder mystery soap opera. So basically, it was meant to be like, it wasn't even meant to be a soap opera at first. It was meant to be kind of like just talk about like lawyers and stuff like that. But it actually became this kind of like, it's surprising anybody was alive in that town, because every so often there'd be a new serial killer coming to town, and they kind of have to solve the mystery. Do I like Harry Enfield? I watch some of his stuff, not a lot, so I'll say yes. Michael Palin's Pole to Pole, which I like Michael Palin. I'm a big fan of I'm a big Monty Python fan. I grew up with Monty Python as a kid. It was one of those that we just watched, and me and my better half every once in a while will like sit down and we'll put on some Monty Python, and it just still cracks us up. I got a question for you guys. One, how come you have not hit the like button? I know you're still here. Two, what do you think of the Sunday Night Blues format? Do you like it? Is this something that you want to see me do again? Because we're basically, it's kind of we got a Q&A, we're gonna have basically a top 10 list. We're gonna have like recommendations of YouTube channels and podcasts and books, and we'll do that type of thing, and it's going to be kind of free flow and easy going. Thank you, I really appreciate that. Actually, I wanted to do something different, and how this came about is I did not plan to make a video tonight, but the idea was I was sitting downstairs, and I was watching like a program. And one of the things that I mentioned were people inside and stressed out right now, and I felt kind of bad because I'm like, Yeah, there's a lot of people that are probably really stressed at this time period. And I'm not doing anything right now. I, and I think I don't have a video really ready. Like I'm still researching on stuff. So I said I want to do something that could take people away for like at least an hour or two. And this was the idea. Read 2 comments above. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. I really do. What's my favorite TV movie? Probably Duel, actually. But right up there with that is The Night Stalker, which is a fantastic one. It's put by Kino Lorber on Blu-ray. And if you don't have it, I recommend you get it. It's Darren McGavin before the Night Stalker TV series came out. There were 2 films. They did The Night Stalker and The Night Strangler. The Night Strangler, it's underrated. And then they did the Monster of the Week TV series. The Night Stalker would go on to inspire the series X-Files. Jabberwocky. Yes, I have seen Jabberwocky, but it's been a long time. Like anything weird and quirky like that, like a Terry Gilliam, Monty Python, Time Bandits, all that type of stuff. Yeah, that was kind of my jam when I was a kid. Favorite episodes of some of your favorite series. That's actually really, really a good idea, especially some of the classic shows. Yeah, I would definitely do that. Maybe within my next Sunday Night Blue video, what I'll do is I'll do like kind of like a favorite, like a top list of some of my favorite shows of all time. Because there's so many good shows. I used to watch a lot of anthology series when I was growing up. Like I grew up on stuff like Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Tales of the Unexpected, Twilight Zone, and as I got older, there's stuff like Monsters and Tales from the Crypt, of course. I love Barney Miller. Sergeant Wojciechowicz. He's actually in General Hospital right now. The guy that plays him actually. Yeah, it was a really fun show. It was one of those shows for guys that, if you're younger, Barney Miller was a show that was set in a police precinct. It was a lower budget show, but it was really well done. It had a great cast, and a it had a lot of it was shot within this one place. There's one memorable episode for me that was a Halloween episode they did, where they get this guy in, and he thinks he's a werewolf. There, and some of them are kind of, maybe he's a werewolf, and he's kind of like, is he going to turn into a werewolf before he's in the prison? He's in this prison cell here, where the precinct's at, and it's a really good episode. I'll leave it to you to check it out. Taxi is another one that I watched. Gargoyles was there was a TV movie called Gargoyles. It was actually really fun, and for a long time, unfortunately, people didn't know about it, but I would definitely check it out. Now, Barney Miller had a short spin-off series called with Abe Vigoda, because Abe Vigoda played the character Fish on the TV series, and they gave Fish his own spin-off series. Much like on the CBC show Beachcombers, the guy that starred as the Constable, John Constable, got his own series, Constable. Too Close for Comfort, I remember, and of course spin-off series as well. I love Psycho 2. Psycho 2 is so underrated. I like Psycho 3 too. I think Psycho 3 is a missed opportunity. I think they should have went with the original idea for the killer for Psycho 3, but I absolutely love Psycho 2. I don't have any of their German stuff, so I don't really know much about the company. I've seen people like show off their stuff, and it looks really good. Aren't they a bit pricey? So if you got some, that's awesome. Do I read every day? Not every day, but I do try to read a lot. Whether it's like I'm reading a book, or I'm reading something out of online, or I'm reading a forum or something like that. I recently got annoyed because I was on Amazon, and they had I was doing up like a Hanna-Barbera list of cartoons that I wanted, and they had like Jetsons, the complete original series. And there was like so many comments like saying, "Oh, this isn't the complete series. There's supposed to be 75 episodes of the Jetsons. This isn't the complete series." So I was just peeved after a while, because I'm a stickler for certain things. And if you've ever seen the Jetsons, it was a series that came out in 1963, and it lasted for one season. Now 20 odd years later, in around 1985, 1986, I can't remember quite when, they brought the Jetsons back, and they did 2 more seasons of the Jetsons. which would be the 80s Jetsons series. So you got the 60s Jetsons series, which is Jetsons the original series, which is clearly set on the Blu-ray. And there is Jetsons the 80s series, which I don't think is on Blu-ray yet. But some people will take the time to go on Wikipedia, look at the episode amount list, and just go with that. And they won't bother to scroll down a little bit farther and find out more information. It's just that type of thing that annoys the heck out of me. I do love Canon, actually. Canon, I like the Ironsides as well. I watch Vegas. I like the show Vegas. Now, which are we talking? Are you talking about Las Vegas or Vegas? Because there's two, and because I did watch both of them. I love Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds are go. I I really enjoy that stuff. Endangered Species with Robert Urich. I think I did, actually. Robert Urich, my favorite Robert Urich thing is always going to be Spencer. Do I read or collect comics? I don't as much anymore. I would love to, Chris. It's just we only got one comic shop here, and I asked them to bring in like Fangoria for me. I went back like a lot of times, and they got me one issue of Fangoria, and they never called me back again. So it's Man from Uncle. Actually, ironically, Javed, when I was doing like my list of box sets for tonight, one of the box sets that I was going to bring up that I didn't bring up was the Man from Uncle, the complete series, like briefcase box set. I love that series. I did see the interview, actually. It was really funny. I can't believe that almost caused like a crisis. The Avengers, I love. But yeah, I got like the. Do you remember the box that came out, the Man from Uncle box set? It was done like a suitcase. I got that one. I love that series. Jet Li movies, just fun stuff. But yeah, I would love to collect comics. It's just not in my area. I can't really do that so much right now. I'm hoping to get back into some of it down the road. My oldest, she gets a lot of like graphic novels, collects her comics that way, and she does have Comixology as well. So they always have specials on there too. Now I did recently download Comixology because they put a bunch of like stuff on there for free to read, and I do want to read them. Do you have any annuals from your childhood days? Do you mean like comic book annuals, or do you mean like the annuals like I know that in Britain there's a lot of like annuals and stuff like that. Now Canada, we did have something called a Canadian Children's Annual, which was amazing, and I actually found a couple of those at a bookstore once, and I picked them up. So I do have some of them here. If I can ever find them, I'll bring them on here and show them to you guys. So anybody here that's Canadian, for instance, and sees the Canadian Children's Annuals, there's going to be a blast from the past, and it's going to give you a kind of warm feels inside. Bionic Woman, Homicide: Life on the Streets. Yeah, so if you like Homicide, I'm not sure if you're at the beginning, but I mentioned that I was going to be soon rewatching The Wire, and a few people actually didn't know what The Wire was. I love Homicide: Life on the Streets, Tales from the Crypt, Red Shoe Diaries. I love Red Shoe Diaries. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. China Beach is good. You're definitely going to enjoy China Beach, especially if you like Tour of Duty. Which one? Don't think of something. UFO. Robert Vaughn's Man from Uncle. Yeah, Man from Uncle. I love Man from Uncle. I have all those shows because I love those shows. Daredevil, and Spider-Man comics. You guys were so lucky that you got so much of that stuff there. There was Clown starring Henry Fonda based on Emmett Kelly. I don't remember that one actually. Did I like the Dungeons and Dragons? I did, but I like parts of Darkwater even more. I would love if they came back and finished parts of Darkwater with the type of animation that they did back then. I have not yet got the Indicator John Ford set. I'm a bit behind on the Indicator sets. Like I got the Fuller and the Tall Tales ones and the Hammer Volume 4, probably the last ones that I got. I do have all Mission Impossible. I don't have the 80s version. I remember Mysterious Cities of Gold, but very, very like kind of like The Millionaire. I don't remember it very well, but I know it used to come on when I was a kid. I kind of remember it. Tomb of Dracula was a really good comic. The original series. Get the original stuff. A Canadian Cop Show. What is there besides Night Heat? I mean, there's not a lot of Canadian cop shows out there. I liked Adderley, which was a Canadian spy series with Winston Reckert. Would go on to do Neon Rider. But I enjoyed Adderley. Seeing Things was, if not sure if you remember this one, Andy, but Seeing Things with Louis Ciccone. Well, was the character. Ludo Grande was the actor. I liked Napoleon Dynamite, but it's not. It really was for like a younger audience. Hill Street Blues is American. It does come off like a Canadian show with some of its stuff. It's definitely an American series. The guy Scanners. Well, he was a writer initially. Like he wrote King of Kensington. That was his kind of his baby, which was a famous for those guys that aren't Canadian here. King of Kensington was a really famous Canadian series starring a Waxman. I have Shudder. I love Shudder, Frankie. I think it's great. Definitely check out the Cursed Films one. I do give you like a warning that on the last Cursed Films one, they do show like an accident that happened on the set of Twilight Zone, the film. I don't mind if that's a spoiler or not. I just want to let you know, just in case that stuff bothers you. Your buddies with guys from Night Heat? That's kind of cool. Night Heat was a really popular show. It's nowadays people kind of don't remember it, but one of the neat things, one of the big things about Night Heat, and something that's definitely worth remembering, is that this show was not just a Canadian popular show, but it was a show that crossed over to the U.S. and it was popular in the United States as well. There wasn't back in that day. There wasn't a lot of shows that had that crossover appeal over into a United States market. And it was obviously a very lucrative, popular market to get into. Night Heat, and the other one I would say it would have been SCTV, which was so popular that it would take the place of Saturday Night Live at least once a month for a period of time. And SCTV, by the way, better than Saturday Night Live. I'm going on that hill. I'm saying it. Right. Beachcombers. I love Beachcombers. Neon Rider. Danger Bay. Danger Bay was another one that was popular all over. It became popular. I think Nickelodeon played Danger Bay in the United States. Hourly is fantastic. Oh, there's one other set. There's that I forgot to mention. That if you're home now, it was the show that you're thinking about was called Forever Night. It initially had a TV film called Nick Knight, and that starred and the TV film starred Rick Springfield. But Forever Night, the TV series, that was actually a Canadian show, starred Jarrett Wynn Davies, who was one of those kind of like really workman actors in Canada, did a lot of stuff. So yeah, and Forever Night is out now to buy, like the complete series, out to buy on I think on DVD or Blu-ray. But definitely worth checking out. But another one that you can probably watch if you got it during this period of time, Ingmar Bergman cinema set. So if anybody picked this up, now might be the time to check it out, because you can do like movie marathons like of Bergman. Just make sure you're in the right mood for it. He was my favorite stand-up comedian. I'm really big on George Carlin. I really like a lot of his stuff. A lot of the early stuff from Robin Williams I really enjoyed. And I love improvisational comedians. They really kind of like, they stand out. I did a lot of improv when I was younger. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. But I didn't go that way. I didn't think I was funny enough. To be totally honest with you. I love Corner Gas. The guy from Corner Gas actually is a huge comic book fan too, and he sticks comics and comic references in every episode, which is kind of cool. The Blue Knight. I don't remember that show actually. Now the people that distribute all of the Criterion, Vinegar Syndrome, and Severin titles here in Canada actually got their start by releasing Corner Gas on DVD box sets. They're a little company by the name of VSA. When they became more popular and they gained a bit more money from the Corner Gas box sets, what they did was they became Unobstructed View. and they're a distribution company here in Canada for a lot of the big companies in the U.S. Did I like Hardcastle and McCormick? I don't remember it very well, but I remember liking it when I was a kid. That's like I don't really remember a lot about. I kind of remember a bit of Fall Guy, not a lot, but I remember liking it. I loved Ultraman. I loved Ultraman. I'm a big I'm a huge like fan of like stuff like that. I'm a big Takatsu fan, and specifically I love the Power Rangers and I like the Sentai too as well. Automan. Automan was cool. Automan came on during back the time when Thursday wasn't a good time to put on shows, so they put it on like what we called at the time Black Thursday, just shows that you wanted to get canceled would go on that time period. So they put on Automan and Manimal. They were back to back at that same time. I do have Manimal on the complete series, but I don't yet have Automan, which started actually Desi Arnaz Jr., the son of Desi Arnaz. Oh, Bill Lustig? Oh yeah, like Bill Lustig did. Well, actually, before Blue Underground, I would say yeah, that's what. But he did like some Anchor Bay stuff as well. Am I going to get the Ultraman Blu-ray sets? If I can afford it, yes, I really want them. I like the fact that they got a mural with the sets, the kind of a big picture that comes together. Cop Rock, I remember Cop Rock actually. Did Show Factory put it out? MacGyver, I do love MacGyver. Will I be getting the Bruce Lee set? Yes, I'm not sure when it's coming out, so I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to get it when it initially comes out, but I definitely want to get it. I'm a huge fan of Bruce Lee, and it's a cool set. I don't think I got that one on pre-order yet, though. I do have the Gamera one on pre-order. I cannot miss the Gamera one. I got the Godzilla set. Some people complain about the size. I love the Godzilla set size because it's freaking Godzilla. It should be a large set, in my opinion anyway. So I'm really looking forward to the Gamera one. Put that right next to my Godzilla collection. Yes, there's the big set coming out. See, I know him most for Tetsu the Iron Man. That's like the I'm not as versed as you are in his films, but I know the Iron Man. I really like that one. I remember Battle of the Planets. I do actually. I remember way too much stuff. I probably remember way too much stuff. Bruce Lee's coming in July. I don't think I'm going to for it in July, but I'll definitely one thing. Maybe it'll be kind of a Christmas present. Depends on what I'm getting for Christmas. Actually, the consoles are coming out this year, so I'm probably going to be getting one of the consoles for Christmas. Leaning towards Xbox over PlayStation 5. I'll explain that after if anybody's interested. Does Blue Underground do standalone Siege? I don't know if they do standalone, Alan, but I know that they put them in their sets. Battle Beyond Stars. I like Battle Beyond Stars. It's cheesy fun. It wouldn't surprise me if James Cameron worked on visual effects because he worked with Corman for a while. Of course, he was the first director for Piranha 2, but he kind of walked away. I have not been to many concerts. My cousins went to way more concerts than I did. You know how many concerts I've been to? Very few. Do you know the one that I can remember like right now off the top of my head that like really stands out? I'm going to mention two bands that were at this concert. And unless you really like love 80s music and stuff like that, you're probably not going to know either one of them. So it was the opening band was the Spoons, and the headliner of the show was Gowan. So if you know who those are, congratulations. But if you don't, I understand completely. So I was very excited about seeing the Spoons and Gowan. I was kind of enamored with the lead. I think the girl in the Spoons anyway. I thought she was cute, and in real life, in person, she was even cuter. She had kind of a punk look to her. Hard to believe John Sayles. Well, yeah, I got to start somewhere, man. Do you remember Johnny Sokol? A bit, not a lot. You have no idea who the Spoons are? Who's my favorite bands? Well, I'm old school, so there's a lot of, I like a lot of like, I love the Beatles. I enjoy the Rolling Stones. I was a fan of the Ramones growing up, and I like a lot of the '80s bands. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it all. I like a lot of the pop bands. I was a big fan of the Bangles. I like the Go-Go's. Do I like any hardcore bands type stuff? I do. Rush is okay. They're really good. They were never my favorite band, but my cousin was a huge Rush fan. Led Zeppelin, I enjoy. I like their concept albums. I don't put them on all the time. Nirvana took me a while to get into, but I really like Nirvana now. Uh, do I like Rage Against the Machine? They're okay. They're more my sister's era of bands. Like I'll be honest with you, I'm older, so there was I liked some of the people that like probably didn't like. I was a big guy that I liked a lot of like soundtracks and stuff. Wasp, yes. Rat, hell yes. Poison, yes. Actually, one of the girls that I dated once over the summer, her Brett Michaels babysat her when she was a kid. Guns N' Roses, Beatles and Stones, of course. Beatles or Stones, if I had to choose. If I got to choose the Beatles, definitely. Definitely more progressive band, but I do love the Stones too. I like the Doors. In college, they played them so much that I thought they were super overrated. But I enjoyed them. Red, of course, Quiet Riot. I'm not sure if you remember that one or not, but they were really good. Honeymoon Suite, of course, Platinum Blonde. They were two bands that were big in my day, in Indy's day too, I guess. Of course, did I like Pink Floyd? Yeah, I like Pink Floyd. Not my favorite. I like the Who. I liked a lot of stuff that the Who did. System of a Down. Nah, they're okay. That's I didn't really get into a lot of their stuff. I'm a huge fan of Daft Punk. Deep Purple's cool. Mental Health. You remember Mental Health? Oh, I love Mental Health. That was great. That's where they did Come On Feel the Noise, which is such a cool headbanger song. Uh, I love Hall and Oates. I love Billy Joel. I like Billy Idol too, and I like Generation X, early Billy Idol stuff. Feel It Again is actually going through my head right now. Frank Zappa's pretty cool. Van Halen, especially the early years. Bowie, yes, everybody in this house, me and my better half are huge Bowie fans. So that is one of our favorites. But yeah, Platinum Blonde, Bare Neck Ladies, they're cool actually. I love Adam Ant. Goody Two Shoes is one of my favorite songs of all time. Good remembering that, by the way, because I'm actually really surprised that somebody remembered that. But yes, I was a huge fan of Adam Ant. Do I like Miles Davis, Coltrane, Hancock? Yeah, I like jazz. Giorgio Moroder, he's a groundbreaker. Dio, pretty much. I remember, I'm not sure if you guys know, so I'm guessing Indy's going to. Ronnie Hawkins. I saw Ronnie Hawkins in concert once. One of those like concert in the park type things up in Ontario. Um, and I was a big fan of Ronnie Hawkins. Def Leppard, of course. Def Leppard's excellent. And what's even cooler is the story behind Def Leppard. Is that their band, it's a story everybody knows, but their drummer was in a car accident. He lost his arm, and rather than this was at the height of their popularity, studios were wanting them to rush in to make another album, because they had the heat there, but they didn't do it. They stuck with that drummer and got him a specialized drum kit. And that's amazing. Lady Gaga, I'm a tremendous fan of Lady Gaga. Alicia Keys I like as well. Do I have Jubilee? I don't actually. Who's my favorite guitarist? Eddie Van Halen or Eric Clapton. Kind of go back and forth. Last concert I saw was in Ottawa. Oh man. Yeah, that's cool. I always get super anybody anytime somebody messes with Def Leppard, no, they're an awesome band. I love Queen. Uh, I'm glad. I know they were going to do like Queen without him. I'm not sure if they ever did like without the lead singer, and yeah, that's horrible. But because there is only one Freddie Mercury, and that's like there's only one. So one albums, man. Seen Bare Naked Ladies 4 times. They seem like a fun group. And yes, I do live in Nova Scotia, and yes, I have watched the Trailer Park Boys, in case anybody's going to mention that. And I do like the Trailer Park Boys. Rock on. George Lynch. Randy Rose is amazing, Chris. I remember you worked with Ozzy. Uh, oh, yeah, no, I don't have the film, actually. But I do. I love Adam Ant. I did collect records for a bit. I need a new record player. That's why I stopped collecting records. That's that's about it, right? Record wise right now. Eventually, I will get back into them again. I want to see what the record industry and like what the collecting is like over Morocco. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. I don't know if it's on Blu-ray or not. I remember when it first came on. I was living in Corner Brook, and they did a movie. They did a Trailer Park Boys movie, and it was in Canada, but it was going to be another year before it came out in the U.S. So I had more people than you can imagine was what contacted me from the U.S. at the time, trying to get the Trailer Park Boys movie. Prince, yes, hands down, Prince is one of my favorites. Prince was revolutionary in his music, and Purple Rain is one of the perfect albums. Like hands down, for me, Purple Rain is a perfect album. Like every song on that like hits a different part of me. I love George Michael's. Faith is another album that I really enjoyed. Iron Maiden was incredible. I love the Eddie character, and I always thought something should have been done with it. But yeah, needless to say, I'm a huge music fan as well. Wham. I love Wham, but I didn't like them when they first came out because they knocked Madonna off the chart. This is true. They knocked Madonna off the charts, off the top in the top 5 on video hits, and I was not happy with them for that. I love Duran Duran. Oh, the movie Purple Rain is so good, and I related to Purple Rain. I relate to a lot actually. I feel like movies take away from your music time, or vice versa sometimes. Again, like Virgin, I think was the song that it knocked off. All right, but there we go, guys. At 97 minutes, almost 98 minutes, we've done it again. Our very first episode of Sunday Night Blues. And I do like R.E.O. Speedwagon, actually. I know a lot of people don't, and a lot of people get grief for liking them, but I do like R.E.O. Speedwagon. Metallica, they're okay. After they started whining, I didn't like them so much. What's my favorite Madonna album? True Blue. Oh, okay, yeah, True Blue. Actually, you had the one with the poster. I am Aaron. This is my movie study. Hopefully, we'll soon be back in the movie library. I do apologize that we haven't been there in a while, but we will be back there soon as my knee gets better. Have an amazingly great evening, guys. For me right now, I'm not going to lie, it is time for tea because I've been talking for almost 99 minutes straight. We'll do another Sunday Night Blue next week, and coming up, I should have an Arrow video unboxing that I'm going to be doing, and you all know what it's going to be. So I'm going to be unboxing the One Missed Calls trilogy set. I'll be talking about that. I'll be doing a J horror, an Asian horror video in the near future, and we'll have lots more. I will see you soon. Wait, I got to do my call out. I forgot it. Oh my God, for the first time ever. I am Aaron. This is the movie study. You are the cult of cinema. You guys rock. Hit the like button on your way out if you haven't already. And it is time for tea.